I overheard my son plotting to send me to an old-age home for my estate, and in that moment, my world shattered. A tale of love, greed, and betrayal that nearly tore my family apart. A true story from Los Angeles, California. My son and daughter-in-law planned to abandon me in an old-age home after I transferred my estate, property, and assets. They thought they had won, but I had other plans. My name is Evelyn. I'm 58 years old, and this is my story, rooted in true events, real choices, and the heartache and triumphs that come with family. Over the years, I've learned that love can protect, betrayal can wound, and justice, when delivered with care, can heal. These are my stories, my memories, my lessons, real life, narrated from the heart. I've always believed in letting love guide my life. Love built the home my husband and I shared, raised my son Liam, and now shines in the laughter of my grandchildren, Sophia and Mateo. But life is rarely free of shadows. Even those we hold closest can betray us. The estate, the properties, the assets, they were meant to safeguard our family's future. My husband worked his entire life to provide us with security and comfort. I watched over it for decades, trusting my son to honor the values of integrity and gratitude. Yet the stakes were greater than wealth alone. This estate was a lifeline for Sophia and Mateo, a shield for their future, a promise that they would never be left vulnerable to greed or selfishness. And my own autonomy, the freedom to live out my final years on my terms, was slipping away, unnoticed until now. Lately, a subtle unease had begun to settle within me, a whisper I could no longer ignore. Something in Liam and Camila's manner, a fleeting glance, a too-polished smile tugged at the corners of my mind, warning me that all was not as it seemed. If you are listening to my story now, stay with me, because this isn't just my tale. It's for anyone who has ever trusted the people they loved most, only to feel betrayal creeping close. I want to know, where are you hearing this story? Morning coffee in hand, or late at night when the shadows feel too long? If this story moves you, share it, comment, and subscribe. Let someone else feel its truth. Now, let me take you back to when everything I believed about family began to unravel. I had planned a final family trip, a chance to come together one last time, to weave new memories into our story. Sophia's laughter in the garden, Mateo chasing butterflies across the lawn, moments like these remind me of life's beauty. Still, the small voice of caution stirred within me, questioning whether all would unfold as I hoped. Packing my bags and checking the car, I felt a swell of gratitude. This trip would be a celebration of family, a testament to the bonds that tied us together. Yet I could not shake the sensation of watching something unfold just out of sight. As the sun dipped below the horizon, joy mingled with quiet anticipation. The hum of the engine and the soft chatter of loved ones filled the car. Sophia and Mateo sat side by side, their laughter bubbling like a spring, chasing away years of weariness. Watching them, I felt the steady warmth of pride and love. My gaze shifted to Liam, reassured, or so I hoped, that my husband's legacy would be in safe hands. The rolling hills outside glowed in the golden light. I breathed in the sweet scent of wildflowers drifting through the open window. My heart swelled with gratitude. Decades of sacrifice had brought me here. Now, nearing life's twilight, I wanted nothing more than to savor this moment. And yet, the unspoken stakes, the estate, my grandchildren's security, and my own independence hovered at the edges, waiting to reveal themselves. We paused at a quaint roadside diner for lunch. Sophia and Mateo darted from booth to booth, their laughter echoing off the walls. Liam and Camila exchanged a fleeting glance, just long enough to catch my attention. For a heartbeat, I sensed something unspoken, a flicker of unease, but it disappeared under a polite smile. They were family. I trusted them completely. Even as the diner's warmth and chatter enveloped us, tiny gestures, stiff smiles, hurried glances tugged at my attention. Back on the road, conversation flowed freely, laughter masking unease. Sophia's laughter rang out, Mateo's eyes alight with curiosity, and for a moment the world seemed perfect. Yet, glancing at Liam and Camila, unease crept into my mind. Beneath the joy, a subtle tension lingered, almost imperceptible, like a shadow at the edge of vision. Watching them more closely, I began to see what I had ignored. Liam stiffened when Camilla spoke. Her laughter sometimes carried a sharpness beneath the sweetness. She knew how to soothe him with a glance, a phrase. He, though confident on the surface, revealed insecurity in the way his jaw tightened, the way his eyes averted hers for just a second too long. These were not signs of harmony, but of a couple carrying burdens. My chest tightened as awareness grew. Camilla's ambition was thinly veiled. She craved more than comfort, she craved control. Liam, my only son, seemed torn between duty and resentment. For years he had lived in the shadow of his father's achievements and my expectations. That shadow had twisted into entitlement. Even the children's joyous chatter could not distract me from the nagging sense that something lay beneath. I caught fragments of whispered words, low enough to elude me yet clear enough to raise alarm. Liam's voice carried a clipped edge. Camilla's tone was smooth, persuasive, always steering him. Their partnership was not built on love, but on gain. Later that evening, back in the dining room, we gathered around the table. The room smelled of roasted vegetables and warm bread, the children giggling over a shared joke. Yet the tension between Liam and Camilla grew heavier. Their eyes met over the edge of a plate, a silent exchange, a fleeting smirk that vanished almost instantly. My pulse quickened. "Did you two just—" I began, but Liam's calm mask returned and Camilla's gaze softened into practiced innocence. A polite laugh followed, a deflection, but the seed of doubt had taken root. As night settled, the children drifted into dreams, curtains swayed in the breeze, and the distant hum of the engine became a lullaby. I sat quietly, staring at the dim glow of the interior lights reflecting on the day. Small gestures, whispered tones, fleeting glances, all pointed to a hidden truth I had yet to uncover. The uneasy feeling finally sharpened into something undeniable as I walked through the hallway in search of a book. The late afternoon sun streamed through the windows, casting golden light on the floorboards, a glow that should have comforted me but now felt mocking. My fingertips brushed the banister, trembling. My heartbeat echoed in my ears. I remembered the days when my husband was still with me and Liam was just a boy. Late nights spent tucking him in, early mornings helping with school projects, every moment devoted to nurturing our family. My heart swelled with pride at the person he had become, or at least the person I thought he was. Everything I held today once belonged to my husband. He built it through years of sacrifice. I had guarded it after his passing, determined to ensure it would one day provide security for our family. To me, this was never just wealth. It was his legacy, a testament to his love and effort. I've always let love guide me, my greatest strength and deepest vulnerability. Now, nearing the twilight of my years, I wanted my legacy to be more than property or papers. It should reflect the values that defined my life. The hum of conversation in the car, the scent of wildflowers on the roadside, they reminded me of life's beauty. It was a feeling I could neither name nor dismiss, one that stirred in my chest as we continued our journey, a subtle current beneath the surface. Something was amiss, and though I did not yet know what, I felt certain my awareness was only the beginning. Later that afternoon, while searching for a book, I hear low, deliberate murmurs drifting from the living room. I freeze, hand tightening on the banister. Liam and Camilla sit close together, bodies leaning in as if conspiring. Their voices are soft at first, almost casual, but carry an edge that makes my chest tighten. At first I told myself it was nothing. Perhaps I imagined it. But then Liam's voice cuts through the quiet, low and resolute, carrying an unfamiliar coldness. Everything will be ours. Soon she'll transfer it all to me. Everything. And once she's in the home, it's all ours. Camilla leans closer, her fingers brushing lightly against his arm, almost mockingly intimate. Her reply follows, smooth and deliberate, each word measured. Yes. The estate, the properties, the assets, everything your father left behind. She thinks she's protecting a legacy, but really she's holding us back. Once she's in that old age home, no more delays, no more guilt. Freedom. Her words linger in the air, curling like smoke. The air leaves my lungs in a violent gasp. My knees weaken, and I clutch the banister for balance as their words replay in my head. They are planning to discard me after claiming what my husband worked for and what I guarded for decades. Liam's smirk deepens. I've waited so long for this. She's been too trusting, too careful. She never sees beyond her love for the children, and that's our chance. Camila nods, her smile small but sharp. You've been patient, Liam, but patience alone isn't enough. We need to ensure no one suspects a thing. We must act careful, discreet, subtle. Timing is everything. She will never question it until it's done. Exactly, Liam says, his voice a low rumble of certainty. She's always been careful, meticulous even. But careful doesn't mean clever, and we are clever. His gaze flicks to the window, as if imagining a distant future where everything is already theirs. Camila tilts her head, a calculating gleam in her eyes. And don't forget the children. They are her heart. But even they are blind sometimes. If we are strategic, even Sophia and Matteo won't see it coming until the transfer is complete. My heart pounds against my ribs. Each word, each syllable feels like a knife slicing through the fabric of trust. 1,000 memories surge forward, nights comforting Liam, meals sacrificed so he could thrive, decades of devotion. Now, each memory feels like a stone hurled back at me. Tears blur my vision as I press against the wall, trying to steady my breath. Camila's hand lingers near Liam's, her tone lowering. We must be precise, not a single mistake. She trusts us too much, but that's also a weakness. We exploit that, and nothing will stand in our way. Liam's jaw tightens. I've been careful, I've been patient, and now it's time. Nothing stops us. Not guilt, not hesitation. We've earned this. After all these years, we deserve it. Camila laughed softly, a sound that should have been light, but in that moment it is chilling. Deserve isn't quite the word. But yes, it's ours. And soon she'll have no choice but to let it go. We've planned this perfectly. I shiver, gripping the banister tighter. Their conversation is not merely a whisper of ambition, it is a blueprint of betrayal. Their words carry certainty, confidence, and cruelty intertwined. I understand now, this is not a fleeting thought, not a moment of weakness. It is a calculated plan. Let me pause here just for a moment. If you've stayed with me this far, it means you feel the weight of this betrayal as much as I did. Tell me, if it were you, would you forgive or would you fight back? Drop your answer in the comments, because I'd truly like to know. And while you're here, hit like, tap subscribe, and share this with someone who believes family should be unbreakable. The twist that comes next will change everything. At that moment, I understood. They think they've won. They believe they'll take the estate and leave me in an old-age home. But they are wrong. I have other plans. Later, alone in my room, the silence presses around me like a shroud. Their voices loop in my mind, each syllable carving deeper into my chest. Had I been blind all along? Has love so completely clouded my judgment? I wander the hallway again, every detail mocking me. Family photographs that once radiated warmth now seem to sneer with frozen smiles. I recall narrowed eyes, whispered words, the brush of fingers in silent agreement. All the signs had been there, and I ignored them. The stillness of the house weighs heavily. I long for Sophia and Matteo's laughter, their untainted joy reminding me of all that is good. In that silence, a choice begins to form. I could let bitterness consume me or rise above it. The love I bear for my grandchildren becomes my anchor. Their innocence, their bright smiles, their unquestioning affection are proof that goodness can survive even amidst betrayal. I cannot let Liam and Camila's greed poison their lives. As the sun dips lower, shadows stretch across the wooden floor, and a spark ignites inside me, small, fragile, yet steady. It burns. I will not let this betrayal define my final days. I will not be consumed by vengeance or despair. My legacy will not be tainted by greed but preserved through love, compassion, and wisdom. I straighten my spine and draw a long, steady breath. Beneath the ache in my heart, a quiet fire has taken root. Liam and Camila might have chosen treachery, but I will choose differently. My resolve is clear. I will protect Sophia and Matteo, ensuring the bonds of family I have nurtured remain unbroken. The house is silent, but within me a storm has settled. Sorrow, betrayal, and above all, determination. I cannot remain idle. Thoughts of Sophia and Matteo, their laughter bright and untainted, fill my mind. I cannot allow their future to be dictated by their parents' selfishness. That evening, after much contemplation, I picked up the phone and dialed my lawyer. My fingers are steady, though my heart thrums with fear and determination. I outline my wishes. All property, assets, and estate are to be placed in a trust for Sophia and Matteo, inaccessible until they turn 18. The lawyer listens intently. "Evelyn, are you sure this is what you want?" he asks gently. I tighten my grip on the receiver, voice firm despite the tension coiling in my stomach. Yes, I must protect them. Their childhood, their happiness. This is the only way to ensure it. As I speak, I scribble notes on scraps of paper, thinking through practical steps, contingencies, and deadlines. Confronting this reality brings a whisper of fear. How will Liam and Camila react? But I push the doubt aside, focusing on certainty. I am acting out of love and responsibility. The next day, I met my lawyer and signed the papers. Each stroke of the pen feels deliberate, almost ceremonial, a tangible manifestation of my resolve. Folding the documents neatly, stacking them with care, I feel a sense of liberation bloom within me, a small flame of triumph in the shadow of betrayal. I know the road ahead will not be easy. Confrontation awaits, and the consequences of my choices will ripple through the family. Yet I am ready, fortified by the knowledge that every step I have taken is for Sophia and Matteo's well-being. Stepping out of the office into the warmth of the afternoon sun, I brush the strap of my bag and let the breeze carry the imagined sound of my grandchildren's laughter. Soon I will have to face Liam and Camila, reveal my decision, and witness their reactions. But for now, I allow myself a quiet smile, savoring the satisfaction of taking the first decisive step toward justice and protection. The days following my decision unfold in a peculiar blend of routine and tension. Each morning carries the outward semblance of calm, yet beneath it runs a current of unease I cannot ignore nor dismiss. Liam and Camila have perfected the art of deception. Smiles widened with practiced ease, gestures polished, every word carefully curated to conceal true intentions. They play the roles of devoted son and daughter-in-law with unsettling precision, silently counting the days until they can claim what they believe is theirs. Observing them becomes an exercise in vigilance. Each glance, whispered conversation, every fleeting touch across the dinner table catalogued meticulously. The weight of their duplicity presses upon me relentlessly, but it only strengthens my resolve to act with foresight rather than despair. Even amidst this cloud of deception, the light of Sophia and Matteo shines brightly, piercing the shadows around me. Their laughter, spontaneous and unrestrained, reminds me why my perseverance matters. Sophia, with her untamed curls bouncing as she runs, and Matteo, gentle yet spirited, explore the world with curiosity and delight. Whether chasing a paper airplane across the hotel room or marveling at a butterfly in the garden, their joy becomes a beacon, a reminder that my grandchildren's innocence is worth protecting at every cost. Dinner, once a sanctuary of comfort and conversation, has transformed into a stage for observing Liam and Camila's pretense. Their chatter is slightly too loud, smiles forced, movements measured. I note the tension in their shoulders, the flickers of irritation beneath polite expressions. Yet even in this strain, Sophia and Matteo soften the edges of my anxiety. Observing them together, I marvel at the harmony of their contrasting spirits. Sophia's fearless energy complements Matteo's gentle curiosity. Together they form a balance of exuberance and tenderness that fills me with pride. The simple discoveries of their day, a bouquet of wildflowers gathered by Sophia, a smooth rock held triumphantly by Matteo, carry significance beyond their simplicity. Each gesture testifies to the innocence and purity I seek to protect, a life unmarred by the scheming adults around them. As evening approaches, the sun sinks low, painting the lake in shades of amber and rose. Our entire family, siblings, cousins, nieces, nephews, aunts, and uncles, gathers for the final evening of our trip, the air carrying the gentle perfume of blooming flowers mingling with the murmur of water lapping at the shore. I stand at the edge of the gathering, a quiet observer with a heart heavy yet resolute. The secret decisions I have made, plans to protect Sophia and Matteo from greed press against my chest, await both terrifying and empowering. Liam and Camila moved through the crowd with practiced ease, their eyes filled with expectation, confident that the estate will soon fall into their hands. Yet they cannot see the careful preparation behind my composed exterior, the words I have rehearsed, the quiet resolve carried through years of love, sacrifice, and heartbreak. As we settle around the dinner table, I inhale deeply, feeling decades of devotion settle into steady strength within me. Tonight's choices will shape not just my immediate family, but the legacy of our entire lineage. My hands tremble slightly as I rise, not from fear, but from the weight of decades, years of sacrifice, love poured into a family I have nurtured, and a betrayal I can no longer ignore. Every gaze turns toward me. I take a slow breath. Finally, that night at dinner I began, voice steady despite the flutter in my chest. My dear family, I wanted this trip to be a celebration, a final chance to weave memories strong enough to outlast time. But love, I've learned, is not just a feeling. It is a choice to act with integrity, to protect those who cannot protect themselves, and yes, to forgive even when the wound is deep. I let my gaze drift to Sophia and Matteo, their wide, innocent eyes shimmering with trust, their laughter from earlier still echoing faintly in my heart. They were the reason I endured, the reason I had to act. Then my eyes found Liam and Camila. Their smiles were brittle, fingers drumming nervously against the table. I could see the hunger, the calculated confidence that had led them to believe I would never see through them. Their expressions flickered as my words settled, a ripple of uncertainty passing between them. I drew a deep breath and let the words fall like stones into the stillness. I have come to understand something painful tonight. Liam, Camila, I know your plan. I know you intended to place me in an old-age home, to claim the estate, the properties, the assets that have been safeguarded for decades. You thought your whispers, your secret schemes would remain hidden. But the truth cannot be silenced. Gasps rippled through the room. Aunts and uncles froze. Sisters' hands flew to mouths. Brothers' eyes widened. The younger cousins whispered, startled, as the weight of my revelation sank in. Even Liam and Camila's composure faltered for a heartbeat. Liam's jaw tightened, his fingers curling into fists under the table. Camila's eyes widened slightly, her lips pressing together as a flash of panic crossed her otherwise controlled features. I know you imagined yourselves clever, securing freedom and gain at the expense of love. But tonight, the truth is laid bare. My voice grew firmer. You underestimated the strength of love and the vigilance it breeds. The room was a mixture of shock, disbelief, and rising guilt. Liam's shoulders stiffened, his posture rigid as if bracing against the weight of exposure. Camila's hand clenched around her wine glass, knuckles whitening. Their eyes darted briefly to each other, a silent exchange loaded with regret, fear, and calculation. You can't do that, Liam muttered, rage sharpening his tone, though his voice trembled with disbelief. How could you? I already have, I replied evenly, calm and resolute. This family's future will not be held hostage to greed. Camila's breathing quickened, and she looked at Liam, eyes wide with alarm. Liam, maybe she doesn't understand. But Liam shook his head, voice low, strained. No, we thought we had control, Camila. We thought we were careful, clever enough, but she's outmaneuvered us. She always had the advantage we underestimated. I watched them, their facade of composure crumbling, revealing raw human reactions, disbelief, shame, and fear. Liam's fists unclenched slowly, trembling, as his eyes darted to the floor. Camila's lips parted, her mind racing for a retort, yet no words came. Their initial anger now mingled with an unmistakable awareness of consequence. I stepped closer, placing my hands gently on Sophia and Matteo's shoulders. Because of this, I have acted, not out of anger, but out of love. I let the words hang for a heartbeat, letting the gravity of the moment sink in. My entire estate, all assets, all holdings, every piece of property has been transferred into a trust, solely for Sophia and Matteo. They will inherit when they come of age, safeguarded from misuse, and overseen by a guardian I have already appointed. The room fell utterly silent. Sophia and Matteo's eyes widened, faces lighting as if the sun had moved indoors. Liam's lips pressed into a thin, hard line, his jaw twitching. Camila's mask of composure slipped entirely, disbelief and shame flickering across her face. The rest of the family murmured in shock, their expressions a mixture of anger, sadness, and astonishment. Liam's voice came out hoarse, low, almost a whisper. You really did that. All of it? He ran a hand through his hair, a physical sign of inner turmoil. His face was pale, tension radiating from every feature. Camilla's eyes darted between me and Liam, searching for a hint of leverage, but finding none. Her voice, usually smooth and measured, faltered. Liam, maybe we could. Liam cut her off with a harsh shake of his head. No, Camilla. There's nothing we can do now. It's done. She's done this. We failed. His voice cracked slightly, a raw human sound of realization. I noticed the subtle trembling in both of them now, the carefully constructed confidence eroded by the undeniable truth. Their whispered plans, long nurtured in secrecy, had collapsed under the weight of a single decisive action. Then, turning to the room, I added softly, "And now, I forgive them." A collective intake of breath swept across the family. Some eyes welled with tears. Others nodded, understanding that forgiveness did not negate guilt. It simply refused to let bitterness define the rest of our lives. Liam looked down, jaw tight, staring at the polished wooden table as though seeing it for the first time. Camilla's shoulders sagged, her hand slipping slowly from the wine glass as she exhaled, a sign of resignation. Sophia and Matteo rushed to me, arms wrapping around my waist. "Thank you, Grandma," they cried, a chorus of innocence and love. I held them tightly, feeling their warmth, trust, and untainted joy. "I forgive you," I said, looking directly at Liam and Camilla, whose expressions had shifted from shock to raw, unguarded shame. "Not because what you did was acceptable, but because love must guide our legacy, not greed. The burden of your choices is yours to bear. My choice is protection, care, and forgiveness." Liam's eyes flickered, tears threatening, a mixture of guilt and regret overtaking his anger. Camilla's lips trembled. She avoided eye contact, staring instead at her hands clasped tightly in her lap. The realization that their actions had consequences, their plan dismantled by foresight and love, hung heavy in the room. The golden light of the lake and the twilight sky seemed to soften even the hardest edges. Laughter, tears, and quiet understanding filled the room. In that moment, I knew the true legacy of our family, beyond wealth or possessions, was intact. Love, integrity, resilience, and the courage to protect those who cannot protect themselves. Sophia and Matteo, in contrast, radiated joy. They ran to me again, arms tight around my waist, grounding me in the very reason I had acted. "Thank you, Grandma," Sophia whispered, her voice trembling with awe. Matteo's gentle smile and sparkling eyes said it all without words, the sense of security, love, and trust restored. In that moment, I realized my true legacy was not in wealth, but in the guidance and care I had nurtured in these two precious lives. Liam's face darkened, anger creeping across his cheeks as he grappled with reality. Camilla's eyes, once sharp and calculating, faltered. Their greed had blinded them, but their failure was now undeniable. I felt a pang of sadness, not for the wealth they lost, but for how easily ambition had eclipsed the bonds of family. This was a lesson they would now face on their own. Camilla finally lifted her gaze, voice barely above a whisper. "Liam, I didn't think she would." "I know," Liam said quietly, a mixture of shame and despair in his tone. "We underestimated her, and ourselves." His eyes met mine briefly, a silent acknowledgement of defeat, humility, and recognition of the harm caused. As the evening deepened, I took Sophia and Matteo's hands, guiding them outside into the twilight. Stars shimmered above, and the gentle scent of flowers hung in the air, a reminder that life, like the night sky, is ever renewing. By intervening, I had altered the course of our family's future, ensuring that love and integrity would endure, even if some hearts remained hardened. Walking through the quiet streets, Sophia and Matteo chattered excitedly about the days to come, their laughter a melody that lifted my spirit. I felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The estate and wealth were secondary, the legacy that truly mattered. The lessons of love and steadfastness was secure. In protecting my grandchildren, I had safeguarded the heart of our family. Now, as I sit surrounded by Sophia and Matteo's chatter, I am keenly aware of the journey that brought me here. The weight of forgiveness settles upon me, a conscious choice to free myself from bitterness. It drifts away like autumn leaves on a soft breeze, leaving space for clarity and calm. I think back to the day I overheard Liam and Camila's plan, their hushed whispers cutting through my trust like a winter chill. The betrayal had been sharp, raw, overwhelming. Yet, reflecting on decades of love and sacrifice, I recognize their actions do not define me. Their greed cannot dictate how I respond. That night, I resolved to forgive. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is strength, a deliberate act of letting go. It preserves peace, not for those who wronged me, but for the love that sustains me and safeguards the future of those I cherish most. Looking at Sophia and Matteo, I see more than innocence. I see the continuation of values that have guided my life. Their laughter, curiosity, and boundless love fill me with hope. The trust I have established for them secures not just their well-being and education, but also something deeper, the enduring lessons of compassion, integrity, and courage in the face of betrayal. The estate papers, once symbols of power, now carry a richer meaning, emblems of the love, trust, and guidance I have passed down. This family trip, which began as a final attempt to unite us, has become a testament to the strength of forgiveness and the resilience of the human spirit. Taking Sophia and Matteo's hands in mine, I feel profound closure and fulfillment. The path has been long and at times painful, but the destination, a legacy rooted in love and moral courage, has been worth every step. I am at peace, heart lightened, confident that the lessons I leave behind will guide them through a complex world. The future may hold uncertainties, yet in this moment I am assured, love endures, forgiveness heals, and our family's legacy will shine brightly for generations. As the late afternoon sun bathed our family in a warm golden glow, I, Evelyn, felt hope and renewal. The weight of the past days, the revelations, heartbreak, and difficult choices had lifted, leaving space for peace and clarity. Sophia and Matteo, my beloved grandchildren, radiated joy and curiosity, their laughter carried on the breeze. They were the living embodiment of innocence and love, and I knew they would carry forward not just my estate, but the moral lessons I had spent a lifetime imparting. Liam and Camila, in contrast, quietly faced the consequences of their actions. The shock of exposure had softened into a dawning awareness of the hurt they had caused, and their eyes, once calculating, now reflected regret. Their focus shifted to Sophia and Matteo, realizing that love and family mattered far more than greed. Though it was a hard lesson, I sensed the first glimmers of understanding. This was my legacy of love. If you believe love is stronger than greed, share this story. Did this story touch you, or make you reflect on the importance of family and legacy? Hit like, subscribe, and share your story in the comments. I read everyone because your story matters too. Together we remind the world, love, not greed, is the true inheritance.